Hello guys, welcome to the next video on Linux command line tutorial for beginners. In this video we will see how we can use cp command in Linux. Cp command is used to copy files and directories in Linux. So let's see how we can use it. So just open your terminal by pressing Ctrl Alt T and let's see what are the options we have for cp command. So for giving cp command you use cp and then options, and then you can write the source. So you just need to give the name of your source and then the destination. Okay, so cp and then comes the options, for example -i or -v or other options, and then you give the name or location of your source file or directory, and then you need to give the name of the destination where you want to copy the source, right? So let's get started. First of all, I will cd to my desktop, and in here in the desktop you can already see that I have two directories and a file. So for example, I want to copy a file into a new file. So what I can do is I can just write cp and then I can just write the name of my file1 which I want to copy, and then I want to copy this file into a new file called file2.txt, which doesn't really exist. So what the cp command is going to do is, if this file doesn't exist, is going to create the new file and then copy the content of file1 to file2. So let's see what happens when we give this command. So you can see the new file is created and the content of file1 will be copied to file2. So let's cat, for example, file1 first, and you can see the content of it, and then let's cat the content of file2 and you can see the same content, right? Now let me clear the terminal. Now the second thing we can do here is we can copy a file to a directory. So for example, I can just use cp and then I can just write the name of the file, and for example I want to copy it to a directory 1 which is empty right now. So let me show you first of all, before giving this command, the content of the directory 1. So I will just use ls and then directory name, right, and press enter, and it shows nothing. That means directory is empty, right? So now I will do cp and then the name of the file. For example, I want to copy file1 and then the name of the directory which is my destination where I want to save my file, right? And I will press enter and it's going to copy this file to directory 1. And let's do ls directory 1 once again, and you can see file 1 is now existing inside directory 1, right? So it has copied the file 1 into the directory 1. Now for example, I want to copy file 2 also into the directory 2. What I can do is I can just write file 1 which is already copied. If you want to copy the multiple files, you can just do it something like this. So you can give the multiple sources here, and then at the end you can give the name of the destination. So this time I'm going to give the directory 2, for example, to copy to it. So I will just press enter and then I will ls to directory 2, and you can see these two files are transferred to the directory 2, right? Now for example, I want to transfer these two files to directory 1, but we already know that file 1 is already existing inside the directory 1, and for example we don't want to overwrite the file 1 which is inside directory 1. So this command is going to overwrite the file 1 because it's already existing in the directory 1. So to avoid the overwriting, what you can do is you can give this command or flag which is -i, which stands for interactive, which asks before overwriting. Okay, so when you press enter, it says cp overwrite directory 1 file1.txt. So it will ask you the question, and if you give y here, then it's going to overwrite your file1, and if you give n here, then it's going to not overwrite, right? So we are going to give n, so it's going to only copy file2, and it's not going to overwrite file1. Okay, so you can use I for the interactive interface, right? Now for example, you can give the absolute path here or the relative path, right? So for example, I will cd to my directory 1 here, and cd to the directory 1, and let's do ls here. And for example, we want to give the cp command from here. So the file 2 and file 1 exist in the desktop, not the directory 1, and right now we are in dir1 directory. So we can just go one step back or one folder above by using these two dots, as you already know, and you can give the name of the file, for example file1.txt, and then once again dot dot, and then this time file2.txt, right? And then for example, you want to copy it in the current directory you are already in, you can use this dot to show or indicate that this is our current directory, or destination is our current directory. So press enter, and it's going to copy these two files to the directory 1, and we have not given -i flag here, so it will override these two files. Okay, now this dot here means the current directory. So whenever you do ls minus a, it's going to show you dot and then dot dot, and then file1 and file2.txt. So this dot means the current directory. So if you give this dot, it means the current directory. You can also give this command something like dir1, something like this, but you are already in the directory, right? So you can give the absolute path of the directory, for example, right? So for example, home, and then your username, and then the desktop which you are in. So you are in the desktop directory here, right? And then dir1 directory 1. Okay, so you can give this kind of absolute path also, or a dot also, or this kind of relative path also, to copy your files. Now there is one more interesting thing I want to show here, and first let me clear the terminal. And for example, I want to copy the directory 1 to a directory 3 which doesn't really exist. So what I can do here, so I can do something like this: cp and then dir1, and let me go to the desktop first of all. So I will just do cd dot dot, so I will be in the desktop, and then I will just do cp and then dir1, and then I will give the name of my directory which doesn't really exist, which is directory 3, right? And let's press enter, and let's see what happens. And it's going to give error, and it says omitting directory dir1. And why it's doing this? Because this directory contains some files, and then it's not able to copy this directory to directory 3. So in order to copy a directory which contains a file or files, you can give this command, which is minus capital R or small r. I think both are same, but mostly we use capital R, which is for recursive copying, right? So press enter, and then you can see dir3 is created, and we can list out the content of dir3, and you can see the content of directory 1 is transferred to directory 3. Now you may ask why this directory 1 is not inside directory 3, right? Because cp command, for example, when you use for files, it will transfer the file inside the directory 3, right? So whenever you give a command something like this, and if the destination doesn't exist, then what it's going to do is going to transfer the content of the directory or source directory to the destination directory and create this directory first, and then transfer the content. Now once again, when you give the same command, if the directory already exists, okay, so once this directory already exists and you give the same command, let's see what happens. And I'm going to just give I, not I but V flag here for verbose, and you already know what this means is, and I'm going to press enter, and you can see what happens here. So what's happening here is it's transferring directory 1 to directory 3, and then it's transferring the file inside the directory 1 to directory 3, and we are going to give the same command ls directory 3 here, and now you can see directory 3 is transferred inside the directory 1 is transferred inside the directory 3, right? So if the file already exists, it's going to copy this directory 1 inside the directory 3. If file doesn't exist or directory doesn't exist, then it's going to just copy the content of the source to the destination. Okay, so this is how you can use a cp command, and for more detail you have this command man cp for seeing all the options which you can use with the cp command. And when you press q, it's going to quit. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.